Hello, everyone, and welcome to the King's Open House virtual session. For today, we have faculty members and student representatives from our psychology department here. First, we're going to go through a presentation, and then afterwards, we'll have a chance for a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, please feel free to submit them through the chat function throughout the presentation or during the Q&A session. So without further ado, Dr. Marcy, over to you.
All right. Hello, and welcome to the King's Virtual Open House. As noted, I'm Dr. Marcy Penner, and I'm a professor in the psychology department. And I have some co-presenters here with me today. So I have students Nishta Chakraborty, who's the co-president of the Psychology Association, and Aura Pop, who's our psychology representative from the Student Association. My colleague, Dr. Wendy Ellis, is also here to help me answer questions after the presentation. So what is psychology? Psychology is the scientific study of the mind and behavior, but it's also a very powerful force for social change in the world. And why should students study psychology? Well, common reasons that students come to psychology are that they want to better understand themselves, or they want to better understand people around them. And they want to gain knowledge and skills to make a difference in the world, to improve people's quality of life in a range of ways, from improving mental well-being to creating more user-friendly devices, and because they want to tackle complex problems, ones where either humans are part of the problem or they need to be part of the solution. So questions or problems like social justice and inequality, right? How do we reduce or eliminate bias? Issues like climate change. How do we motivate people to make positive behavioral changes? The opioid crisis. How do we prevent, identify, and treat addiction? And in a pandemic, how do we get people to make difficult choices that are nonetheless in their or others' long-term interests? So we have 10 full-time faculty at King's, and I'm going to introduce myself in a bit more detail and my wonderful colleagues. So, as I mentioned previously, I'm Dr. Marcy Penner. I teach research methods, cognition, and community-based learning course called Psychology for the Common Good. And my research focuses on math abilities in children and adults. Dr. Imants Barousse teaches courses on consciousness and altered states of consciousness, and his research focuses on consciousness. Dr. Kathy Chauvaz, who is the chair of the department, teaches clinical courses including mental health and deafness and the clinical practicum course. Her research focuses on clinical psychology with specific interest in mental health and deafness. Dr. Wendy Ellis, who is on our call, teaches social relationships in childhood and adolescence, an experiential learning course in survey design, and she also teaches the thesis course. Her research focuses on social development in children and adolescents. Dr. Linda Hutchinson teaches our Introduction to Psychology, Developmental Psychology, and Educational Psychology. Her research focuses on understanding a wide range of parent and teacher factors associated with children's self-regulation and self-regulated learning. Dr. Lynn Jackson also teaches Introduction to Psychology and the Psychology of Prejudice. She studies people's attitudes towards one another, social issues, the environment, and animals. Dr. Melnick Gribble, who's also our Associate Dean, teaches Psychology and Law. Her research focuses on memory and eyewitness testimony in children. Dr. Mike Morrison teaches social psychology and psychology of attitudes and experimental research methods. His research focuses on social cognition, emotions, and physical and mental health. And our newest faculty member, Dr. Loretta Norton, teaches cognition, biological basis of behavior, and an exciting new hands-on course called Cognitive Neuroscience. Her research focuses on using neuroimaging to understand the neural underpinnings of consciousness in acute brain injury. And Dr. Chris Roney teaches human sexuality, theory and psychology, the self, and correlational research methods. His research focuses on our sense of self and identity. So our group of faculty are award-winning educators. Dr. Bruce, Dr. Melnick-Gribble, and Dr. Roney have all won the award for teaching excellence, and many of us have been regularly nominated. We also actively create knowledge. We have research labs, and most of us hold internal or external research grants. For example, Dr. Ellis was awarded a Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council grant to study the impact of social media use on teens' self-esteem, their well-being, and identity. Now, not only do we do research and create the knowledge housed in textbooks, some of our faculty members actually create the textbooks that are used across the country and the world. So here's a sampling of the textbooks written by our faculty members. Our faculty also has a very strong commitment to using their expertise to benefit others, and we model and teach those skills to our students. In my own research on how children learn math, it's been used to design an early screening tool to determine which children will need help with math and to personalize the educational interventions that children receive. I also consult with educational software companies to design and evaluate math programs for children. Dr. Chauvez's research on mental health and deafness has been used to promote better well-being for deaf children and to teach strategies to American Sign Language interpreters to help protect them against vicarious trauma. She also consults with Correctional Service Canada to assess the mental health status of deaf inmates and makes recommendations regarding equitable accommodation. Dr. Morrison's research on the role of implicit bias in legal settings has been presented at workshops for judges, and his research on subjective well-being helps to inform public policy relating to the measurement and promotion of well-being in society. And Dr. Norton works alongside a team of physicians in London hospitals to understand how cognition and consciousness become disrupted in acute brain injuries and develops tools to predict functional recovery. Her research findings help to inform clinical practice and guide appropriate decisions regarding therapeutic intensity and goals of care. So there are different ways or different modules to study psychology at King's depending on your interest and on your goals. Students intending to go on to graduate school in psychology will want to do the honors specialization, an honors degree with a thesis. But there are also other modules in a specialization, an honors double major if you're interested in psychology and another department, a major, and also a minor in psychology. Sometimes people ask what's the difference between a specialization and a major in psychology, and the answer is that in the specialization you take a higher proportion of psychology courses. So speaking of psychology courses, what courses do students take in a psychology degree at King's? Year one is really about exploring your options. So students take Introduction to Psychology to learn the basics of psychology. They also take courses in math and statistics, and then a range of other courses that are interesting to them across departments. And I will ask Aura and Nishta, do you have favorite first year courses that you took?
Yeah, for sure. For me, my favorite first year course is film studies, and it actually went on to be my favorite course in all of university so far.
I would recommend Intro to Disability Studies. The course challenges our way of thinking through current societal issues. It's a challenging course, but way worth it at the end of it all.
Thank you. And students sometimes are a bit nervous about the math requirements, but psychology is a science and basic math skills are necessary. To support students, we have exceptional math instructors. They often win student teaching awards, and we have weekly math tutoring and bridging courses for students. Also, students often find the applied courses that they take in psychology, they find the math less conceptually challenging. In year two, students work to build a strong foundation in psychology by taking research methods, a writing course. They take a psychology as a social science course with choice You can focus on clinical, developmental, educational, personality, or social psychology. And then one psychology as a natural science course, cognition or biopsychology or sensation and perception. And then of course you get to take a lot of other exciting psychology courses as well. In research methods, students develop skills as both research consumers, so they gain the scientific literacy skills necessary to be an engaged citizen and to critically evaluate science in the media. And they also learn how to be research producers. In the writing course, students build very strong writing skills in general, and then more discipline-specific skills like citations. In third and fourth year, students gain specialized knowledge in small project-based seminar courses that allow students to explore a topic of interest in greater depth. And I've often been asked how small are the courses, and they range from a cap of 20 and to the more experiential learning courses that have a cap of 12 or 15 students. So quite small courses. And there are a range of courses that you can take on clinical topics, social and developmental topics, cognition or neuroscience, and applied psychology. We're going to show a couple of examples here. So here's a photo. This is of Nick and Allie, who are third-year psychology students in Dr. Norton's cognitive neuroscience course this past term, and they're demonstrating the EEG headbands that are used to measure brain activity. So in this course, students have the opportunity to design and implement their own EEG experiments, and they also tour the Brain and Mind Institute and get to try out the cutting-edge imaging technology. And I believe that Aura and Nishta both took this course, so they could answer some more questions about that if you have them. Here's another example of one of the seminar courses that you can take. This is Dr. Chauvez's Mental Health and Deafness course. And what we're showing here is part of an experiential exercise of what it's like to be deaf-blind. Third and fourth year is also a great time to gain real-world experience, and this is something that we do really well at King's. So we have 3 courses that are specifically experiential learning courses. The first one is Survey Design and Construction, which is taught by Dr. Wendy Ellis, where students partner with the municipal government to create surveys. And this year they created them on the issue of social housing. We have a clinical practicum, which is really fantastic for undergraduate students. And it's taught by Dr. Chauvez. And students do supervised placements in clinical settings with clinical supervisors. So they might be in a hospital or a school or a community agency. The third course is Psychology for the Common Good, which I teach. And in that course, teams of students create research-based solutions to real-world problems of interest for a community partner. So we're going to try and show some videos from students in these courses.
This past school year, I took Dr. Fenner's experiential learning course, Psychology for the Common Good, where my team and I created a set of recommendations in treating trauma and addiction concurrently.
It is aimed to address a major root cause of addiction, trauma.
Initially, I was skeptical of research as a vocation. However, it taught me the value of research and showed me that there was a great deal of satisfaction that comes from building a project in applied psychology.
This course really allowed me to learn a lot about a new subject that I had never really studied before, and also connect with some really cool people that I really didn't know much about before coming to this course, such as my group members, but also other people that took the course and had a strong interest in psychology.
What I took away from this course was the benefit and positive impact that using our knowledge and research and studies to benefit communities and societies around us.
Academically, I've gained a lot of confidence in my research and presentation skills. And personally, I've learned how to coordinate and work with other people effectively.
I also learned a lot about my values as a person and put my skills and strengths to the test while developing new skills. This course really pushed me outside of my comfort zone and helped me think about and realize and reflect on what I want in life and what career I want to pursue.
This course was amazing because you got to take away so many new learning skills that are great for applying what you learn in psychology and in other courses and putting it into a real world context, because there's a lot that we don't get to learn in the classroom that is still very vital to our education. And by taking this course that tries to fit the gap between the classroom and the actual real world context that we get put into. And I think that was a really good experience for myself and for my group. And I'm really glad that I took this course.
The intense workload and team-oriented nature of the project enhanced my ability to work with others under demanding and novel circumstances. If you take this course, you should be prepared to work hard, read a lot, meet self-imposed deadlines, overcome obstacles, listen to differences of opinion, and defend your ideas with scientific knowledge. All in all, it was a great experience, and I totally recommend this course to anybody interested in research and applied psychology.
Hi, I'm Courtney, and I took Psychology 3840, the survey design and construction class this past semester. My group members and I worked closely with some employees from the City of London in terms of creating a survey that would help sort housing applicants into the right form of housing for them, whether that be social, affordable, transitional, sheltered, or supportive housing. Prior to us creating this tool, we got the opportunity to interview some housing intake staff from the City of London, as well as reach out to some other large cities to find out what best practices there were around. And what we found out was that the City of London, as well as other large Ontario cities, did not have any sort of systematic survey methods that they were using that were empirically tested to guide people towards proper housing, which meant that we were given the great chance to pilot a potentially very progressive idea. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we weren't able to fully test out the survey as planned, but we did get a chance to practice our survey construction skills that we were taught and create a proposal and a report, as well as some hopeful ideas for the future. I would definitely recommend this course to anyone who's looking to get into the field of research or is just planning to do a thesis, as well as anyone that's hoping to build connections from people who are from outside organizations, or if you're just looking to make a meaningful impact inside the City of London. This course gave me lots of opportunities to enhance my interpersonal skills and gave me a great foundation of how to work into a group. And that's definitely something that I'm going to use in most jobs in the future.
So as you can see, our students get meaningful experiential learning opportunities. Students also become research producers. So in third year, our honor students take experimental and correlational research methods courses and theory in psychology. And then in the fourth year, they do an honors thesis, where they complete a research project working directly with a faculty member. So here are some pictures from last year's thesis poster session. In addition to their thesis, students can get involved in research at any stage of their degree by joining a research lab. So here we have pictures from Dr. Morrison's social cognition lab and from my cognitive science and numeracy lab. And students, the quality of student work is exceptional. In the past year alone, psychology students from King's gave 23 presentations at national and international conferences, traveling around Canada, the US, and Germany. So here they are at the APA, American Psychological Association, the Canadian Mental Health Association, and the Cognitive Science Society. And King's provides funding for student presenters to attend conferences. 6 students have also had the work that they completed at King's published or accepted for publication in the past year. So I thought I was really pleasantly surprised by that number, and I thought it'd be nice to share a little bit of information about the students. So this is Brad Daly. Brad worked with Dr. Kathy Chauvaz on traumatic stress. And Brad is currently doing his PhD in education. This is Michael Mose. Mike is a graduating student at King's, and he's currently my lab manager. So he's had one paper that's based on his independent study accepted for publication. Mike is also a co-author on a chapter of this book. along with Chad Buckland, who is an alum who's currently doing his PhD in neuroscience. Also Dominica, she did work with Kathy Chauvez as well, and she's currently an occupational therapist. And Tara Duchesne, she did work with Dr. Lynn Jackson. And finally, we have Juan Liu. Juan won the thesis award last year for the best thesis. And I think it's well deserved because her work has just been accepted for publication last week. She is currently working in the tech industry.
Hi, I would like to talk about the King's Psychology Association. We're basically the official club for the department and act as a great resource for all students who go to King's. Through us, you can connect with faculty who attend our events and interact with students regularly. You can connect with upper year students if you're in first or second year, or other students in your year, along with alumni. We host review sessions before Psychology 1000 examinations. We host talks, social events, and panel discussions. I highly recommend joining this club since it has been a great help for me and is always a support for everyone. I encourage you to follow our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages to be in touch with us and to be regularly updated about our events. Thank you.
King's also offers diverse leadership opportunities. The King's Psychology Association organizes talks, social events, and panels, like Nishta said. For example, in January, the club puts together a panel of thesis students to help third years plan for their thesis. It also provides an opportunity to be a psych representative. Psych representatives are part of the King's Student Council and directly liaison between psychology students and the psychology department. Haley White, who is in the photo to the left, is a graduating student and was our student council president this past year. She was also a psych representative previously, as was Nishta. King's academic mentoring program allows upper year students to support in many aspects of their transition process to university, such as academia, campus involvement, and basic life skills. The program presents an opportunity for senior students to give back to King's community and guide incoming students in their journey through academia. King's also provides non-academic involvement opportunities such as the gaming club, ping pong club, and the King's Player Theatre Company.
Okay, so what can you do with a psychology degree? The answer, it turns out, is almost anything, because in addition to psychology-specific knowledge, students gain marketable, transferable skills. So here's an example of where our recent grads have gone. Okay? So the sorts of transferable skills they gain are the ability to problem solve and think analytically, to design research and perform statistical analyses, to write proposals and reports, and to make oral presentations. And so this is a non-exhaustive list of what our recent graduates are doing. Many go on to graduate school in various areas of psychology, including clinical, counseling, forensic, cognitive science, social psychology. They go in neuroscience, counseling, and education. They go on to work in professionals or go on to study in professional schools. A high number of them work in the health professions, work in industry, and do work in government and non-government organizations. So here's just a sampling.
King's boasts a great student experiences where opportunities are plenty and an enormous culture of support is present from every aspect of the college. We have a very supportive learning environment and mentorship opportunities with faculty members who are always ready to help us in every step of any way. Our faculty challenges you and encourages you to push your boundaries of learning. All of our students have a strong sense of connection, not just with faculty, but also other students who meet beyond the classroom whenever possible. All in all, King students belong to a community, and yet each has their own identity. Julia, a recent graduate, went on an exchange to Singapore last year and is shown in the picture on the second from right. This shows a lovely exchange opportunity that is available at King's for those who want international experience.
Psychology at King's offers a great academic experience where faculty challenge students but also provide direct mentorship along the way. As mentioned before by Nishta, there are opportunities to create strong relationships with the faculty members through events held by the King's Psychology Association, small class sizes, or research lab opportunities. Students meaningfully contribute to the community through projects as part of class or independent research. Adam, Josh, Katie, and Rylan, as you can see in the photos, developed PAIRS, Psychological Education, Awareness, and Reduction of Stigma, as part of Psychology for the Common Good course. They won the CMHA Champion of Mental Health Award for PAIRS Mental Health Education Program, which is currently in use across Ontario. King's Academic Mentoring Program, known as CAMP, was developed by Pavlina, Chad, and Kanan as part of Psychology for the Common Good course. CAMP seeks to improve students' academic success and personal achievement through pairing incoming students with senior student members. Kristen Legault created a series of children's books addressing mental health topics. She won both the CMHA Champion of Mental Health Award and the Champion of Mental Health Award for Youth from the Canadian Alliance. All these projects illustrate the amazing opportunities available for students to contribute meaningfully to their community through engaging real-world issues they are passionate about.
King's campus is known to be safe, secure, small and close-knit for all those who come here. You can check out our campus online through this link, which will also be posted on the chat soon.
Okay, thank you to all who have attended for listening. And Aura, Nishta, Dr. Wendy Ellis, and I are now very happy to take your questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much to everyone for this informative presentation. If you are watching this session and you have any questions, please feel free to submit them through the chat function. However, I do have a couple of questions lined up and ready to go here. A lot of students are asking about the math and the stats requirements for psychology, and they're kind of a bit worried about that. Is there any support in place, such as tutoring for the math courses for psychology?
I think I'm going to let the students take this one because they have direct experience they can share.
Yeah, I could share a little bit. In my first year, first of all, the professors are always very helpful. And I remember my math professor met me on a Sunday at 8 p.m. in the library to help me through a quiz. Secondly, the King's the School of MEM offers regular math tutoring sessions, which I highly recommend everybody to attend weekly for any kind of help that they need for both math and stats.
I'd also like to add that the math is a little bit different than the math that you might be used to already in high school. It's a very applied type of math. So for me, it was something that I enjoyed doing in the end. So it might be for you as well. It's worth checking out. And like Nishta said, the professors are always there to help you out. One of my professors as well met me on a Sunday late in the evening to help me with my quiz as well.
Yes, I've heard from a lot of students. I know that one of our math professors, Dr. Joseph Turnbull, does at least 10 review sessions before any exam because he doesn't want any student to be missed. He's quite famous. It's very strange. As someone who studies math and teaches math, it's very strange for a math teacher to be as beloved as the math teachers are at King's. And it's because they really care about the students, will meet you where you are and make sure that you can be successful. Also, students do say, as Aura was saying, you know, sometimes when you're studying math in high school, you think, am I really going to use this? What am I going to use this for? But when you're studying math in psychology, it's made very clear to you what this is going to be used for and how it will be useful for things that you care about. So that makes it a bit more motivating, perhaps, than sometimes.
That's excellent. Thank you so much. Another question that I have here is students are wondering if a background in biology in high school would be useful for a psychology degree at King's.
maybe I'll try that since I teach more in cognition and that side. It would certainly be useful. So if you have such a background, it will serve you well, but you're not expected to have that kind of background.
I would also like to add that if you do have a background in biology, courses like cognitive neuroscience definitely helps, because we discuss so much about brain functions, the neurons and everything, the neural system in general. So I think it would really help in certain courses. But if you have that kind of a skill, then it's really useful.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And also, I know you've touched base on like research placements that the psychology department offers. And we have a student asking, are these paid placements?
So the placements, the practicum that we talked about, that students would do that as part of a course. So it's not a paid placement. Also, my course and Dr. Ellis's course, that's work that students are doing towards credit. And so it's not a paid internship opportunity.
Thank you. And I also have a question from a student who is actually interested in doing a minor in psychology or a double major in psychology. And they were wondering if, is there a program specific you think it would be a great idea to do a double major with?
I think that really depends on what they're excited about. I will say that we have a new minor in decision sciences and data analytics or something. I may have got that a little bit wrong. But we have a new program that would be a really nice fit with psychology if you wanted to use that to go into industry. So analytics and decision sciences, that would be a new possibility, but I think it would really depend on what the student was excited about, because you can find very nice links across a range of disciplines.
I would also like to add that in first year, students are also free to take any wide variety of courses that they want. So you don't have to decide your major or your minor when you come into King's in your first year. Rather, you do it at the end of first year, beginning of second year, where you have a better idea of what kind of courses you liked and what kind of courses you want to take. So first year is definitely a very good field to sort of explore your options.
If I think about students that I know doing double majors, it's either with history or with political science or with philosophy or with sociology. Those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head.
I could also say that, I did a criminology degree at King's, and I took multiple psychology courses, and I took psych and law in my second year, and it was probably, my psychology courses were a remarkable experience in the university, that's for sure. I also have another question for student representatives, and students are asking, how do you balance your on-campus extracurricular involvement and also your academic course load?
Or I go for it.
I think it really comes down to the individual. For me personally, the last few years, I do rely a lot on my peers, but also faculty. I think being part of a smaller community like King's really allows you to make those personal connection with your professors. So I feel like it's more manageable to get assignments done, to I guess get some sort of accommodation if you need, when you know the professor and they know your circumstances as well. So I find that super helpful. But at the end of the day, it comes to time management and how you time your activities. And that's really up to the individual. But I love my planner. I try my best. Sometimes you fall off the wagon. Sometimes you get back on. It's kind of, it depends on the week and the month. Sometimes I'm my best, sometimes I'm my worst. It's good to just pick yourself up and try again.
I would also like to add that I highly recommend doing extracurriculars at King's, just because it's not only academics that you want to hone yourself by the time you graduate, right? So I think, like Aura said, time management is definitely something that you want to have in your skill set. But I highly recommend joining clubs, student council, being a part of different things, so that you know that that's your student experience at university. It's not only academics, but if that's your thing, then go for it. And yeah, like just be on top of what you're doing and prioritize your time. Academics definitely comes first, but if you enjoy something, make sure you do that properly and to the fullest of your abilities.
I agree with what Nishta said. Once you kind of fall into an area that you really enjoy, time management doesn't seem to be an issue anymore. You enjoy spending time on projects, which definitely happens in the upper years. Like some of the courses that we presented, Psychology for the Common Good. I know some of my friends took Dr. Ellis's survey construction course as well, and it's courses that challenge you, but at the end of it, you can't help but smile on everything that you've learned, and just looking at your project afterwards, it kind of amazes you to see all the work you've put into it.
Perfect, thank you so much. And I also have a question from a student, and it's saying, do you think a psychology degree would be a good choice for someone who wants to be a grief counselor?
That's a very good question. So psychology would be a good degree. We also have a thanatology program at King's. And so I know some people who are interested in grief counseling will go through psychology, and some will go through thanatology. And some will do both. So that might be a very good one for a double major.
Awesome, thank you so much. And we also have another question. A student is wondering, what is the steps that they need to take to obtain a PhD in psychology?
Okay. Depending on where you study. So you would want to do an honors degree at King's would be a very good place to do that, to do an honors degree in psychology. If you're looking ahead to graduate school, getting involved in a research lab as an undergraduate student is a great experience that can help you choose whether that's the right path for you, because it gives you a sense of what it would be like. Then depending on the program, and perhaps Dr. Ellis could weigh in here as well, you might do a master's degree and then go on to a PhD, and in other institutions you might go straight into a PhD.
Perfect, thank you so much. At this point, I don't have any further questions. I will turn it back to you for your final thoughts or any pieces of advice you have for our future students.
Nishta, Aura, do you want to add any final thoughts?
So I think if you're coming to King's, you should be very excited for an amazing experience, because I can vouch that this has become my home. I'm an international student and I couldn't have expected any more from King's. Definitely be involved in other things beyond academics, because that's where you meet people, that's where you'll find that you're doing things that you wouldn't have otherwise thought about. Definitely step out of your comfort zone, because this is the time to do it, and also time to build your resilience. So go for it. And King Psychology Department is one of the best. It's known for its research, its mentorship, its support. So if you're coming, then you're in good hands for sure.
I agree with Nishta. If you're coming, you're definitely in good hands. And the same, I fell in love with the campus and the community, and there's so many opportunities at King's, even if for work study, if you're someone on OSAP, there's opportunities during the summer, even throughout the year, for you to work part-time at King's, be it through research, working in reception, many different areas, anything that's available within your interest, you should definitely apply. Yeah, I don't know. I love the campus. We had some pictures throughout our presentation. We also posted the link to the 360 tour. I love just going in the fall and seeing the leaves fall and seeing the building. So I think it's a beautiful campus.
I think I was talking with Nishta and Aura about, why should students come to King's when they have other options? And one of the things that we really highlighted was the mentorship that students receive at King's, right? Whether you're part of a research lab, you're in one of the experiential learning courses, or you're doing your thesis, you're working one-on-one with faculty. And you get a great deal of time and expertise. And I think that that's why our students are you know, part of why our wonderful students are able to do the amazing things that they do in terms of, you know, presenting at conferences. They, you know, as you saw, they're in a wealth of graduate programs, you know, working in the careers that they want to work in, because they're working directly with faculty mentors, instead of if you go to a larger place where you might be working with a faculty members, postdocs, graduate student. Here you're working one-on-one. And I love that as a faculty member. And I hear from students that they appreciate that about us as well.
I could just step in and add a few things, Marcy. So just listening to the questions and the presentation, all very exciting, but I know that everyone's a little bit worried about September and what King's is going to look like, because we really pride ourselves on that community piece and coming together and having these student experiences. So, you know, we're all thinking about what that's going to look like, and I can appreciate that that's on your mind too. So I just wanted to kind of give you some hope that we're working really hard, and we're going to try to maintain those experiences whenever possible. Right now we're just faces behind the screen, but you know, we are hoping that that's going to change quickly. I don't have any insight in what that's going to look like, but I just wanted to kind of reassure you that we're all in the same boat. We still want to see you, whether it's on a screen or if it's in person, hopefully some combination of both. But I know it's really hard making that decision, and we all feel the same way right now.
Thank you, Lindy. And I just want to say, I hope that we get to see you in the classroom in the fall. That would be fantastic.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone, for this informative session. I would also like to thank everyone who attended this session. If you have any more questions later on, please feel free to email us at kings@uwo.ca, and I will make sure to relay your questions to faculty members that are here with us today, and also student representatives. But other than that, I would, again, like to thank everybody for being here, and have a wonderful day, and hopefully we'll see you soon.